Have you ever wondered if anyone truly understands you, every single part of you? There's a powerful truth that many of us overlook. Someone does. Psalm 139 reveals a love so vast, so unwavering, that it defies anything we've ever known. A love that sees beyond our flaws, our mistakes, and our insecurities. It's the love of God, and it's always been there, waiting for us to recognize it. The idea that God knows you intimately and loves you unconditionally might sound impossible to grasp. After all, we live in a world where love is often earned, conditional, and fleeting. So, how could the creator of the universe possibly love us, just as we are? The answer lies in the revelation of Psalm 139. This chapter in the Bible isn't just a poetic description of God's omnipresence. It's an invitation to understand the depth of his love for us, a love that doesn't require perfection, but simply an open heart. Now, imagine what it would be like to live fully in the awareness of this love, to walk each day knowing that no matter what you've done or where you've been, God's love is not just available, it's already there, embracing you. This psalm offers a life-changing perspective that could transform your entire understanding of your relationship with God. Want to discover what that means for you? Let's dive in together and explore the incredible revelation of Psalm 139. Have you ever wished someone could truly see the depth of who you are? Not just the surface, but everything. Your dreams, your doubts, your hidden thoughts. It's a universal desire. Psalm 139 touches on this deeply, showing that God doesn't just know you at a glance. He understands the very core of your being. He knows your heart in ways even you may not fully comprehend. Imagine how it would feel to be completely accepted and loved by someone who knows everything about you. There's something powerful in that, isn't there? Think about it. What if we could fully embrace the reality that we don't have to hide? You can imagine yourself standing before someone who understands your inner struggles, your moments of triumph, and the tears you've kept hidden. God offers this kind of unconditional love. It's the kind of love that isn't based on your mistakes, but on a deep, knowing connection. You don't have to pretend or put on a mask. God, like the angels around us, sees us fully and still chooses to love us without limits. This longing to be understood is something that transcends time and place. We all crave that kind of connection, someone to see us, flaws and all. It's not about being perfect. It's about being fully known and still accepted. And that's what God offers through his divine wisdom, something we can all turn to in the Bible for comfort. Every time you read those words, you're reminded that his love isn't conditional. You don't have to be flawless. God loves you just as you are, deeply and completely. When we think of being understood, we often seek validation from others, don't we? We want to be seen, heard, and loved. But what if the person we need most to see us already does? God isn't waiting for us to change. He loves us as we are. The angels that guide us daily reflect this divine truth, pointing us toward God's love. The next time you find yourself yearning for understanding, turn inward and remember that God, with all his power and wisdom, is already aware of your every thought, your every prayer. And still, he loves you. As we walk through life, it's easy to forget that God's love is constant. His presence is always there, even in the quiet moments when no one else is around. Think about those times you felt completely lost or unsure. God, through his infinite wisdom, knows exactly where you are and what you need. It's a kind of love that transcends time and space, one that holds you close even when you don't realize it. And this is the kind of connection that the Psalm speaks to, an unwavering, unshakable love that isn't contingent on what we do, but on who we are in his eyes. In your life, it may be easy to overlook how deeply God knows you. We often get caught up in the busyness of life and forget to pause and recognize that we are already seen and loved. It's as if we're looking for approval from the world, yet what we truly need is to rest in the comfort of God's constant presence. This isn't just a philosophical idea, it's a practical reality you can experience. Start by praying, even in the smallest of moments, and remember that he knows you inside and out, truly, deeply. And that's enough. This understanding, this deep love, opens the door to something even more profound. What does it mean to live fully known, fully loved? This is the foundation of all spiritual growth. Once we accept this truth, we begin to realize that we are never truly alone. God's love isn't a fleeting emotion. It's a constant, guiding force that stays with us through every season of life. And from this place, something incredible happens. we begin to understand that his love for us is the key to everything that follows. Ready to see where that leads next? When you stop and think about it, how many of us truly know ourselves? Not just what we show the world, but the parts we keep hidden, even from ourselves? God, however, knows every single detail about you, your thoughts, your actions, your heart's deepest desires. And here's the remarkable part. Despite knowing all of that, he chooses to love you. No conditions, no exceptions. It's a love that's not based on performance or perfection, but on the very essence of who you are. Imagine the relief in that. You don't have to be perfect to be loved by the Creator. Think about the times you've been frustrated with yourself for something you did or said. It's easy to feel like you've messed up beyond repair. But here's where God's love stands apart. He's already aware of every misstep you've made and every flaw you carry. Yet, his love for you isn't contingent upon your perfection. Just like the angels that surround you with care and protection, God offers you an unconditional love that doesn't fade, regardless of the mistakes you've made. Consider how often we try to hide certain parts of ourselves from others, even from God. We wear masks, thinking we need to appear a certain way to be accepted. But the truth is, God doesn't need us to be anything other than ourselves. He already knows your inner struggles, your joys, your fears. And despite it all, he loves you. He isn't disappointed in you because of your flaws. He understands them and loves you even more deeply because of them. God's knowledge of you isn't just intellectual. It's a deeply personal and intimate connection. What does it feel like to be fully known and still accepted? It's one of the most powerful experiences a person can have. We're all searching for that sense of belonging, that place where we're not judged but truly understood. God offers that. His love is grounded in the Bible, where you're reminded time and time again that he knows you, every little piece of you, and still holds you close. So, the next time you feel like hiding a part of yourself, remember that there's no part of you that's unknown to God, and he still loves you. As we go through life, we can sometimes feel like we're walking in the shadows of our mistakes. We think that the world knows only our flaws, not the true person we are. But God sees beyond your mistakes. He knows what makes you unique and loves you not despite your flaws, but because of them. The angels that guide us each day are part of God's plan to remind us that his love is always there, even when we feel undeserving. There's no place too far for his love to reach, and no flaw too great for his grace to cover. It's hard to grasp the full weight of what it means to be fully known and still loved, isn't it? It goes against the grain of what the world teaches us. But once you accept that God sees you completely, inside and out, you'll begin to understand a love that can't be shaken by circumstances. When you embrace this truth, it opens up new levels of freedom in your relationship with God. You no longer need to hide or pretend. You can rest in the security of knowing that his love is not only unconditional, but also ever-present. How does that change the way you approach your relationship with him? So, when you pray, think about this. God is listening, not just to the words you say, but to your heart. He knows you completely. And with that understanding, he loves you without hesitation. His love isn't dependent on what you've done right or wrong. It's based on his eternal grace and goodness. This is the foundation of your spiritual journey. Ready to take the next step and dive deeper into that love? Life has a way of throwing curveballs at us, doesn't it? One moment, everything feels fine, and the next, we're faced with challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But here's the beauty of God's love. It's unwavering, even in the most difficult times. When you're feeling lost or uncertain, know this. God's love isn't contingent on your circumstances. He's not distant or indifferent. He's right there, offering his direction and support, regardless of what you're going through. You're never alone, even in your darkest moments. In the midst of trials, it's easy to feel abandoned, like the world has turned its back on you. But the psalm reminds us that God's love never fails. It's constant and unchanging. Think about the angels that surround you. They're there to remind you that God's love is always present, always watching over you. No matter what storms you face, God is right beside you, ready to guide you through the chaos. His love doesn't fluctuate with your situation. It remains steadfast, offering you peace in the storm. When you're struggling, it's natural to question where God is. You may wonder, if he loves me, why is this happening? But remember, God's love isn't about preventing difficulty. It's about walking through it with you. He doesn't promise a life without challenges, but he does promise to be with you every step of the way. The Bible is filled with stories of people who faced hardships, yet they experienced God's unshakable love in the midst of them. You can find strength in knowing that He's offering you the same love, the same guidance, and the same protection. Think about a time when you felt like you couldn't take another step. Maybe you were overwhelmed by a difficult situation, feeling like you were on the verge of giving up. But in those moments, when you called out to God, didn't you feel His presence? Sometimes, it's in our darkest moments that we experience His love most profoundly. God doesn't leave you in the pit. He reaches down, pulls you out, and helps you find your footing again. His love is always there, holding you up when you feel like falling. It's also important to recognize that God's love isn't just about providing comfort in difficult times. It's about direction. His love is a guiding force that leads you, even when the path ahead seems unclear. When you pray, ask Him for clarity, and trust that He will guide you. Just like the angels who help us navigate life's challenges, God's love directs us toward the peace and wisdom we need. His guidance is always available to you, even when you're unsure of your next move. The constant presence of God's love doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean that you'll never face life's challenges alone. You are not expected to carry your burdens by yourself. God's love is there to lift you up, to carry you through the hard times. And when you start to truly understand this, it transforms the way you approach adversity. You don't have to fear the unknown because you know you have a faithful guide by your side, someone who loves you unconditionally, no matter what. So, the next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, remember that God's love is not only constant, but also powerful enough to guide you through it. His presence doesn't fade. It remains steadfast. When you pray, ask for His direction, and trust that He's already walking with you. This is the foundation of His love for you. It's constant, it's unconditional, and it's always available, no matter what life throws your way. Imagine trying to hide from someone who knows exactly where you are, what you're doing, and even the thoughts in your mind. It's impossible, right? Well, that's how it is with God's presence. There's no place you can go that's beyond His reach. You can't outrun Him, and you can't escape His love. Whether you're on top of a mountain or in the depths of despair, God's presence is always with you, guiding and sustaining you. It's a powerful truth to hold on to, especially when life feels overwhelming. Sometimes, we get caught up in thinking that God's presence is only in certain places or moments, like during church services or when we're praying. But the truth is, God is always present, no matter where you are or what you're doing. You can't escape Him, and that's actually a blessing. Think about it. When life gets tough, it's comforting to know that you can't escape His presence. He's not just there for the good moments. He's there, too, in your struggles, offering you His guidance and support. It's easy to feel like we're all alone when we're facing challenges. We might believe that no one understands or that no one can help. But God is never distant. He's with you in every moment, even when you feel like you're walking alone. The angels, who are sent to protect and guide us, are also a reminder of God's constant presence. There's nowhere you can go where God isn't already there, waiting for you to reach out and invite Him in. Think about the time when you felt lost or abandoned. Perhaps you were in a difficult situation, and it seemed like no one was there for you. But even in that darkness, God's presence was with you. You may not have seen it clearly at the time, but looking back, you can see how He was guiding you, sustaining you, even when you felt most alone. God's presence is like a steady hand that never lets go, even when you don't realize it. It's an ever-present comfort, even in the hardest times. God's presence doesn't just guide us, it sustains us, too. It's easy to forget that we have this divine source of strength available to us at all times. When you feel drained, tired, or like you can't go on, remember that God's presence is what gives you the strength to keep moving forward. You don't have to rely on your own power. You can lean into His. Just like the angels who are always near, God's sustaining presence is a constant reminder that you're never without support. The psalm beautifully highlights the impossibility of escaping God's reach. Whether you ascend to the heavens or descend to the depths, God is there. His presence is not just a concept. It's a reality that surrounds us at all times. Even when we don't feel it, even when we don't acknowledge it, God is with us. His presence is like the air we breathe, constant, essential, and life-giving. There's no need to search for Him. He's already with you, guiding you through every step of your journey. So, the next time you feel like you're walking through life unnoticed or unsupported, take a moment to reflect on this. God's presence is never far from you. It's impossible to escape it, and that's something to be thankful for. When you pray, don't just ask for help. Thank God for His constant presence and the guidance it brings. There's nowhere you can go where He isn't already there, ready to guide and sustain you. Isn't it incredible to think that God knows us even better than we know ourselves? He sees beyond the surface, into the deepest corners of our hearts. When anxiety and fear grip us, it's easy to feel like no one understands what we're going through. But God does. He examines our hearts and knows every worry, every fear, and every tear we shed. And even more, He offers comfort, inviting us to trust Him completely. When anxiety tries to overtake you, remember that God is already there, offering peace. Anxiety often makes us feel isolated, like we're carrying a burden no one can lift. But God is always there, offering comfort in the midst of it. He doesn't condemn us for feeling anxious or afraid. He understands it. The Bible tells us to cast our cares on Him because He cares for us. Think about that for a second. The Creator of the universe is not too busy or distant to care about the little things that weigh heavy on your heart. He invites you to bring your anxieties to Him and trust that He will carry them for you. Sometimes, it's hard to see past the storm of emotions swirling inside of us. We might feel like our hearts are full of doubt or fear, and it's easy to believe that God doesn't understand. But He does. He doesn't just see your outward actions. He sees the struggles you face internally. It's in those moments, when your heart is overwhelmed with emotions, that God steps in, offering comfort and strength. You can trust that God is close to the brokenhearted, offering healing and peace even when everything around you seems uncertain. Think about a time when you were consumed by anxiety. Maybe it was a job loss, a health scare, or a difficult relationship. In that moment, did you find yourself turning to God? If you did, you probably felt a sense of relief, like a weight was lifted, even if just for a moment. That's God offering His comfort. He doesn't just want to hear your prayers. He wants to heal your heart. When you trust Him with your anxieties, He transforms them into peace, providing comfort that no worldly solution can offer. The beauty of God's love is that He doesn't ask us to be perfect or have everything figured out. He understands that we're human, with all our emotions and imperfections. When you feel like your heart is too heavy to carry, remember that God is already there, waiting for you to lean on Him. He's not afraid of your emotions. He embraces them, offering His peace and comfort in return. His presence is the antidote to anxiety, providing a foundation of trust that will steady you no matter the storm. When you're overwhelmed with emotions, it can be easy to forget that God is always near, ready to offer His comfort. Take a moment to pray and invite Him into your anxiety. Just as the angels are always present, God's comforting presence is there, ready to guide you through the emotional storm. Trust Him with your heart and allow Him to carry your burdens. You don't have to walk through life's anxieties alone. God is always there, ready to bring peace to your soul. So, the next time anxiety creeps in, remember that God already knows your heart. He understands your deepest fears and anxieties, and He invites you to trust Him with them. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your own. Lean on God, and let His comforting presence bring peace to your heart. Have you ever noticed that when you're aware of someone watching over you, you feel safer, more confident, and more at ease? Well, imagine knowing that the Creator of the universe is always with you, watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you. That's the kind of security God's presence brings. It's not a temporary comfort. It's constant, always there to provide peace even when everything else around you seems uncertain. When life gets chaotic and the world feels like it's spinning out of control, there's a sense of calm that comes when we remember God's constant presence. Just as the angels surround us with their protection, God's peace wraps around us like a blanket, offering security in the most turbulent times. It's like having a steady hand on your shoulder, reminding you that no matter what happens, you're not alone. Recognizing His presence allows you to rest in the knowledge that He's already ahead of you, preparing the way. We all face times when we feel uncertain or insecure. Whether it's dealing with a difficult situation at work, facing health challenges, or navigating relationship struggles, it's easy to become overwhelmed. But when you take a moment to recognize God's presence in those moments, you can feel the shift. Suddenly, the anxiety fades, and a sense of peace takes its place. That's because you're not relying on your own strength anymore. You're leaning on the infinite, unshakable strength of God's presence. Think about a time when you were going through something difficult, but you felt a sense of calm that didn't make sense. Maybe everything around you was falling apart, but deep inside, you felt a peace that passed all understanding. That peace is God's presence. It's not based on circumstances, but on the unwavering truth that God is with you, guiding you through every storm. It's a peace that doesn't need to be earned. It's freely given to those who recognize and trust in His presence. Just like a child feels secure when they know their parents are nearby, we can find peace in knowing that God is always with us. It's not about avoiding challenges or running from difficulties. It's about knowing that even in the hardest times, God's presence will provide the security and peace we need to move forward. And sometimes, that's all we need. A quiet assurance that no matter how rough the journey gets, God is walking with us every step of the way. God's presence brings security and peace, but it's also an invitation to rest. In a world that demands constant hustle, the idea of resting can feel foreign. But recognizing God's presence allows us to let go of the need to control everything. We can trust that He's guiding us, protecting us, and providing everything we need. When we rest in His presence, we're allowing His peace to wash over us, calming our hearts and souls. It's a peaceful surrender that doesn't come from the world. It comes from the assurance that God is with us. So, the next time life feels overwhelming, take a moment to acknowledge God's presence. It's not just about asking for help. It's about resting in the security and peace that come from knowing that He is always with you, guiding and protecting you every single day. Have you ever felt like you had to be perfect to earn someone's love? Maybe you've struggled with the idea that your mistakes or flaws could stand in the way of God's love. But here's the beautiful truth. God's love isn't based on your perfection. In fact, it's quite the opposite. His love is a reflection of His faithfulness, patience, and unconditional grace. God doesn't love us for what we do or don't do. He loves us simply because we are His children. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we need to be perfect in order to be worthy of love. We can get caught up in our failures, imperfections, and shortcomings. But God sees beyond all that. He knows that we're not perfect, and yet He still chooses to love us. Think about how patient He is with us, always giving us the chance to grow and improve. His love is not conditional on our performance. It's a steady, unshakable force that never wavers. Consider the way you love others, especially your closest friends or family. You love them not because they're perfect, but because you value the relationship. Even when they make mistakes, you still love them, and you work through things together. That's the kind of love God has for us. He sees us as works in progress, people who may stumble along the way, but are constantly being shaped and refined by His hands. And His love for us never fades, no matter where we are on our journey. Sometimes, we might feel unworthy of God's love, especially when we're struggling or have fallen short. But God's love isn't based on our ability to get everything right. It's based on His unchanging nature. He loves us because that's who He is, and that's what makes His love so incredible. It's not a love that's given because we deserve it, but because of His eternal goodness. It's the kind of love that stays, even when we feel unlovable. Think about the times in your life when you've made mistakes or felt like you weren't enough. God wasn't waiting for you to become perfect before He loved you. He was already loving you through it. He sees the potential in you, even when you can't see it yourself. His love is a gentle, guiding force that helps you become the person He created you to be, no matter how far along the path you are. This is what makes God's love so transformative. It doesn't demand perfection. It shapes us through His faithfulness, guiding us toward becoming more like Him. He doesn't wait for us to be perfect to lead us. He leads us every step of the way, molding us into the best version of ourselves. His love isn't a reward for good behavior. It's a gift that helps us grow, heal, and move forward. So, the next time you feel like you've fallen short or aren't living up to your own expectations, remember that God's love for you isn't based on your perfection. It's rooted in His eternal faithfulness and patience. And as you walk this journey, His love will continue to shape and guide you, leading you toward the eternal path He has prepared for you. Isn't it amazing how deep relationships are built over time? You don't just get to know someone by standing next to them. You get to know them by spending time with them, by listening, and by allowing their voice to guide you. Psalm 139 invites us into this kind of deep, intimate relationship with God. It's not about surface-level faith or checking off a list of duties. It's about drawing near to Him, listening to His voice, and allowing His love to transform every part of who we are. A deep relationship with God doesn't happen by accident. It takes intentionality. It requires us to open our hearts and minds, to make space in our busy lives for Him. Think about your closest relationships, whether with family, friends, or a spouse. Those relationships thrive on communication, trust, and vulnerability. The same is true for our relationship with God. Psalm 139 challenges us to go beyond the surface and seek Him with all of our hearts, trusting that He is always there, guiding us with His love. One of the most powerful aspects of this invitation is the promise that God will always be there. He isn't distant or detached. He is constantly speaking to us, and He invites us to listen. In a world full of distractions, it can be easy to miss His voice. But when we take the time to quiet our hearts and truly seek Him, we begin to hear Him more clearly. His voice is gentle, yet powerful, and it leads us into greater intimacy with Him. This is where transformation happens. When we trust His voice, His love begins to shape us from the inside out. So, how do we cultivate this intimacy with God? It starts with intentional time spent in prayer. This isn't about asking for things, but simply being present with God, sharing your heart, and allowing Him to speak to yours. Reading the Bible is another way to listen to His voice. It's not about skimming through verses or memorizing passages. It's about allowing the words to penetrate your heart and letting them transform you. When you make space for God's presence in your life, you'll begin to experience a deeper connection, one that goes beyond religion and into a relationship with the Creator. As you seek a deeper relationship with God, don't be discouraged if it feels slow at times. Intimacy takes time. But remember, God's love is patient, and He's always inviting you closer. He desires to walk with you, to reveal Himself to you, and to transform you through His love. You don't have to be perfect to be in a deeper relationship with Him. You just need to be willing to listen, trust, and allow His love to change you. The invitation is there for each of us, and it's an invitation that leads to life transformation. The more we draw near to God, the more His love will change us. And as we trust His voice and follow His lead, we begin to understand more fully the depth of His love and the beauty of His presence. It's a journey that will last a lifetime, but one that is worth every step. And as we grow closer to God, we become more fully the person He created us to be. So, the question is, will you accept the invitation to a deeper relationship with God? Will you make space for His love to transform you and draw you closer to Him? Now that you've had the chance to experience the depth of God's infinite love through Psalm 139, it's time to let that knowledge transform your life. Imagine what could happen if you truly embrace the fact that God knows you intimately and loves you unconditionally, no matter where you are on your spiritual journey. This understanding can lead to a profound shift in the way you live, pray, and interact with the world around you. So what's next for you? Will you take the invitation to draw closer to God, trusting His presence to guide you every step of the way? What might change in your life if you began to live fully in the knowledge of His love, without fear or doubt? Reflect on these questions and allow them to stir your heart to deeper connection with God. If you're ready to continue learning, growing, and uncovering more about God's love, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. You won't want to miss the upcoming insights that can help you walk in faith and experience divine transformation every day.